Hi, firstly to say what this guide is, this is a tutorial in how when you have the problem of after about 10 seconds, maybe any time less than a minute when you enter a game in Killing Floor, an online game, after a certain amount of time, time will just stand still, players will start walking into walls, monsters will start walking into walls, and it's basically you've disconnected from the server. And on most games it's like you've had a ping timeout or you've just have really crappy internet and it's disconnected from the server. I'll quickly show you a video of what I'm talking about just so we know we're talking about the same thing. I'll leave a link to this video in the description below so you can watch it yourself. Basically this is what it is. It's everything sort of stopped and everything's just walking into the walls, and there's the players aren't doing anything, the monsters aren't doing anything, and that's the problem we're dealing with. And as I said, it's usually put down to crappy internet, but there is actually a problem with some UK routers. If you have a BT home hub, basically if you're with BT, or if you have a Thomson router, there is a problem, and Tripwire Interactive are aware of this problem but have not been able to solve it. Throughout this video I'll be following this guide posted by one of their moderators called Morello. Just thought I'd give a visual guide to it. I'll also post a link to this so you can see it for yourself in case anything doesn't work. Well, obviously the main way of knowing if this is your problem, if you're from the US, it isn't your problem because these routers aren't available in the US. And if you don't have either the BT Home Hub, which is pretty easy to know if you have a BT Home Hub because it's called a BT Home Hub, and it's sort of one of its kind, it's a special router. And the second one, the Thomson router. If you are with O2 Wireless, like I am, not O2 Wireless, but O2 Broadband, and you have an O2 Wireless, I think 1 and 2 are both definitely Thomson because I have the O2 Wireless 2 box. I think it's pretty much all of O2. If you're on O2, you've got a Thomson router. If you're not on O2, or if you want to tell, it will be written somewhere on the router itself. On my one, there's Thomson written on the top in silvery grey letters. So if you don't have either of those routers, then this isn't a fix for you. So your problem lies elsewhere. But if you do have one of those routers, there may be help. There's one thing that some routers don't allow: telnet access. You don't really need to know what telnet is, but you need to use it. So if your router doesn't allow access to it, which I'll go into how you know if it can allow access, then this won't work. There used to be two fixes for this. One was using this telnet one, which works, and the other was using editing a file to sort of allow IPs. That no longer works now because Steam changed something in one of their updates, and so this is now the only permanent fix for people with that problem until they come up with something else. Right, as I said, we'll be following the guides from this. The first thing you need to do is go to Start, go to your control panel, go to Programs and Features, and then it's obviously different on like Vista and XP, but you go to where it says Turn Windows Features On or Off, and then you wait for it to load up. Right, then you scroll down and there should be an option called Telnet Client. Now mine was unticked when I first started this, before I did this fix myself, but you see where it says Telnet Client, just tick that and click OK. If Telnet Client isn't there, then I don't know what to say because mine was there, so hopefully it should be there for you. Right, then you exit out. The first thing you want to do is sort of know what address you're trying to find, but what we need to do is go Start, obviously Run if you're using XP or Vista, but for here just type in CMD to get the command line, and there it is, and open it up. First thing, let me just move this over here. First thing you want to do is know how to access your router. So type in ipconfig and hit enter. Now on the first little section, it doesn't print off something too big, it's just like a few paragraphs. The thing you're going to need to be connecting to will be under default gateway. So where it says default gateway, the top one, this little address here, for me 192.168.1.254, this is what we need, this is what we'll be connecting to. So whatever it says there for you, you use that. Right, so the first thing you do is you type in telnet and then your address. So 192.168.1.254 and hit enter. And here it'll ask you for a username. Now at this point, for different routers, there are different usernames. It's been said that for some, it's the username is administrator with a capital A, and you leave the password field blank. For some, it's admin for username and admin for password, all in lowercase. For me, for O2 users, I definitely know what the username and password is. But if you don't know your username and password to sort of log into the settings of your router, then I suggest you either do a Google search or you contact your ISP and ask them what the username and password is. Because this isn't like some kind of hack or illegal. It's just sort of logging into it. So just ask them about it. I would do a quick Google search myself, but seeing as I only have this O2 Wireless 2 router, I can't really confirm any of the other password and username, so I don't want to sort of give out false information. So just do a Google search or contact your ISP, and they'll tell you. Right, so if you're on O2, then this is what it will be. The username will be super user with a capital S and a capital U, and the password is let me just point this out. This is a capital O, and this is a 0. That's just something to point out with the font might be very clear. So capital O to capital B, and then it's all lowercase from here. R0 AD64 ND. And I think it's at this point whether it will let you know whether you can log in or not. If you've got the wrong username and password, it will say it couldn't connect because it was the wrong username and password. But I guess if it comes up with an error saying you're not allowed, then your router doesn't have telnet access. Apparently, not all of them have telnet access. So if you don't get this screen and you're not told it's the wrong username and password, then you cannot access this. And unfortunately, you can't do this fix. And there will not be another fix until I guess Tripwire figure something out, which is a bit annoying. Especially as they don't make it well known. You sort of have to search about it to find this problem. But anyway, if you've gotten this, we'll see. Obviously, this is the model of the Thomson I have, the TG585V7. So once you're logged in, you'll get a nice ASCII thing going on there. Right, the first thing you're going to want to type is, once again, it's all written here on this web page, which I will link. Right, where are we? Type connection bind list. So let me just make this a bit bigger. Connection bind list, and it'll give you this list of stuff. Because I've already done it, what you're looking for is not on my screen, but where you see these different headings down the side, one of them should be called game, capital letters GAME, and it should probably say game and then in brackets UDP, and then it will have some port range. For me, it was 27010 to 27011. For you, it might be different, but depending on what port range it gives you, where it says game, obviously mine has gone now because I got rid of this sort of exception which gives killing floor problems when you're trying to log in online. But that is what you're going to want to look for, and whatever, because on this side it will say game, and then in brackets UDP, and then UDP again, and then it will give you the range. And obviously, as I said, mine was 27010 to 27011, and basically whatever your port range is what you're going to use to get rid of the exception. Let me just quickly check if it okay, so let me just, okay, you're going to have to type out another thing now. So, but once you've found out what the port range is, you're going to type, I don't think you need the semicolon, but I did it without the semicolon and it worked, but so I guess just start with a semicolon, and then if that doesn't work, try without, and vice versa. So you type connection unbind application equals game. As you see, there's no spaces. There were spaces before, but application equals game has no spaces. UDP and then space port equals, and this is where you type in your port range. So for me it was 270.1.0.2.2.70.11, and you press enter. Now because I've already gotten rid of it, A, it's not appearing on the list anymore, but also B, when I hit enter, it's going to say failed to delete con binding because it no longer exists. That's the way to test it. But what it should do is it should just bring you back to this line again. It won't give you any recognition that it's actually done anything. It will just leave you with another line to input stuff in. What you want to do after that is type save all and hit enter, and that basically saves your settings, and you'll know it's saved when this comes up. Then what you're going to want to do again is if you hit up on your keyboard, it will go back to obviously command you've already typed in, and if you go back to connection bind list, it will now print it off again, but for you should no longer see the game, because what you've done up here is said get rid of this rule, and it shouldn't give you hassle anymore. Obviously after that you just close it down, and now you should, if that rule, that line that said game, if that's gone, which it was for me, you should now have no trouble in connecting to Killing Floor servers. Obviously you'll get the usual, you can't connect to some servers, because that's just going to be like it is, but for the majority of the time you shouldn't be getting the stupid everything walking into walls after about 10 seconds of you joining the game. As I said, I'll link to everything you need to do. I hope this has been helpful to you guys, and I hope this gets rid of the annoying problem that is really weird because it only affects a certain amount of UK routers. But this was really annoying me at first, and it's a relief that it's fixed, and I hope it's helped you guys fix it too. See ya.